afternoon, Christine. There's always something, some nice, happy challenge every week, right? If it's not one thing, it's something else. But you know what? Guess what? You know, we gotta keep moving. That's the whole thing. Hello, listeners. Welcome to the subscribers of this channel. The few of you who are here, I'm thanking you all for being here. So, those who will come on later on and those who subscribe at some point in time, I want to welcome from whenever you hear these videos on this channel. It's all for you all, for us and for you all. We learning and we sharing with each other. We just want to come here and have a good vibe. You know what I mean? So thank you all for coming, for the replay, for the live, for everybody who will be here. Thank you all. My name is Cheryl Diane Campbell Sooing. I have a very long government name. And I wear many hats, right? I am an international keynote speaker. I am an author. I'm an image consultant. I'm a trainer. I do many things, right? And I love speaking to people. The gift that God gave to me is to speak to women, teach them certain things in personal branding and stuff to help them, encourage them to live the life that God expects them to live. Empower to empowerment. And as I do that for them, I learn every single time. So I'm learning and growing while I'm teaching and sharing. And this is my friend Christine Francois. She'll tell you exactly who she is.
Hey everyone. So hi everyone. Christine Francois. So thrilled to be back this week with you once again. And my focus right now in this chapter of my life is wellness, holistic wellness. I am focused on gut health and mental wellness, and really excited about helping women to achieve their own goals and knowing that this is a process. And as Cheryl and I, my past, I won't allow my past to define my future, but like Cheryl, I've had many iterations. So in my early years, I was a banker for 25 years, and then I went into corporate communications and marketing, business development. I've had a great time doing every single one. And what has defined my life, though, is the fact that change is constant. And I enjoy the transitions and I enjoy the evolution. So I'm hoping that as Cheryl and I have these conversations with you, that you too get excited about transformation and just realizing that you're not done yet and there's so much yet life left to be lived.
I call that growth.
Indeed.
Change. Because we are changing.
Yes, we are.
We're changing. So,
all the time.
I think almost, I keep thinking that soon we probably have to leave the word normal, but no longer we have to leave vocabulary. So there's nothing really normal in the world anymore. Whatever happens, happens. We live in that time and it's just changing and moving. And we have to learn to move and change with the times, right?
Yes.
So a lot has been happening as usual, all over the world, including here in Trinidad and Tobago. A lot has been happening. I am very, very bothered by, I know we have a topic today, but I'm very, very bothered by body cancer culture. I really don't understand it, especially coming from America, where that's the place where they talk very loudly about liberation and human rights and that kind of thing. They are to me, well, as far as I know, I know other pastors will talk about it, but to me, as far as I know from a child growing up, that's the country always touted that. So it always amazes me when somebody says something that they don't like, how everybody's quick to cancel that person. So it's beyond me. So I'm not sure what they are about. But anyway, it is not something that I am for at all. I am saying if you are saying things that I am not pleased with, I could just not listen to you, and I could just block you, remove you from my social media. I could just not answer my phone if you call me, and there are some things that pass on my phone. I could just block your number whenever you call, will ring twice and then will cut you off. And there are things I could do not to be in your presence. So this was blocking of people. I want to say just thank God, God's not a God like that, because I'm telling you, all of us are being blocked by now. There's not one single one of us is worthy to stand up and say we're worthy of his love. So you know what? To God be the glory. I don't like it. It puzzles me. So why it's so rampant, especially in America. And I guess I get a lot of American news. I try to listen to other parts of the world, but to me that's where we get bombarded with that here. And it's just awful to treat another human being like that because they said something you didn't like. Right? They didn't say it to you. But and now we have what we have you know, I grew up hearing about bandwagons. Now I know what a bandwagon is. One person says something, and there's a whole bandwagon behind them. Everybody has an opinion about something. And you know, you have to listen to their opinion. But they're trying to encourage you to block that other person for that person's opinion. It just really is funny for me, as far as I'm concerned. So you know what? I don't cancel anybody. There are many people who I have blocked. There are many who I don't associate with anymore. There are many who I, you know, if I see you, I see you. You know what I mean? So that's the confidence I have in myself, and that's going into what we're going to talk about today, traits of a confident woman. I didn't do a lot of research on it because I speak on confidence every time, and I always tell people, you know, tell women, that confidence is not a woman in a tie just with red lipstick walking into a room. Right? A lot of people think so, oh, she's confident because she's in a tight dress, or she's half naked on Instagram, you know, with no clothes on. And oh, she's so body positive. I don't know what's so positive about that. Because I am positive about my body. And I think it's a sacred place. And I don't feel that I need to show it to anybody else besides who it belongs to, me, and maybe somebody in my life, or my doctor. There's nobody else who needs to see it. Right? I don't see how they interpret as confidence. So the confidence that the world is showing really is not, in my book, confidence. I'm not canceling them. I'm not banning them at all. They could do their thing. But I'm saying to those who have ears to hear and those who have eyes to see, that is not confidence. If you're confident, you're sure of who you are. So you don't need to take your clothes off. You don't need to get there and use their speeches all the time to use what people call not green books. Those are not green books. Those are like for people with bad grammar. That's like those are like what? Curse words? Well, whatever. You don't have to if you no, I'm not a prude. I don't practice cursing. But I'm telling you, bad words have its place. There are times and maybe you can let go on among, because it might be necessary in the moment. But to just practice every single day, every 2 words you say, to have those words coming out, to me that's kind of like really unnecessary. To me, I think that people who do that all the time lack intelligence. Because if you're an intelligent person, there's so many words in the vocabulary that are F word. And every 2 words are F this and another F and a 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 F. And I want to know, well, what happened to all the other words in the dictionary? Why are you using those 2 words over and over again? And you see, it's become like a norm for them to express themselves, for they're expressing themselves. But I say hats off to them. I'm not going to ban you. I may choose not to listen to you if you overdo it. But like I said, I can tolerate it sometimes in context. But I think there's context for everything, right? The other context, just or the raw like that, no. So I just wrote down a few points on confidence. And I'm talking about traits of a confident woman. If you're looking to see what a confident woman is, not a naked woman on Instagram, is not an Instagram model with her lips all painted and her face and all those filters on their faces all the time. That's what confidence is all about. If you're confident, you're not going to go and do all those things to yourself. You're not going to filter your face. You're going to show your face, right? And not a tight dress, not red lipstick or red nail polish. Those might contribute it if you like that kind of style, but it's okay, and that's okay. But that's not a confident woman. A confident woman, right, says thank you when they're complimented. There are so many say, oh, Christine, I like that top. And you'll be like, oh, this open. No. Say thank you. A confident woman will say thank you when they get a compliment. So it doesn't matter how old the dress is, or the blouses, or the trousers are. If it looks nice, it looks nice. Somebody telling you, oh, I like those. Say thank you. Right? If it's your friend in my office, say, girl, and it's really strong, I've had it, but you don't really have to go into it. Oh, so no. Take a compliment, right? A confident woman carries themselves well. She walks with her shoulders square, lifts her head up high, and she steps. That's how a confident woman, she doesn't cower and pull herself in, right? A confident woman does not apologize excessively. Some people, every 2 words is that they're sorry for something. I don't know why. Okay? A confident woman feels no need to offer explanations for her boundaries or her no. Right? And a confident woman has nothing to prove to anybody else. So I put my hand up as a confident woman. But let me tell you something. I've got to a stage in my life where it's not that I don't care about people. By the way, you don't get 2 hoots when you think about me. In a sense. Now, that might go contrary to what I teach. I teach that, you have to care what people think about you by your appearance. So that's not what I'm talking about. I am talking about people who just don't like you for no reason. I don't like her. She talks too much. I don't like her. Why does she walk with her shoulders so straight? I don't like her. She thinks she knows everything. I don't care about that. The people I care about are those who can make an input in my life, who I need to work with and that kind of thing. That is who I care about, right? That's the kind of confidence I have, right? So, Christine, go right ahead. Let me hear your take on a comment. We can develop on these points. These points are just points that I put there out there because that's what a confident woman is to me. A confident woman is also who's smart and bright. She reads, she listens. So she's well aware of what's happening around her. So she doesn't get into a conversation with others and doesn't know what to say. She's in a group of people and cannot contribute to the conversation because she doesn't know what's happening around her. A confident woman will learn her surroundings, learn what's happening in the world around. I can talk about cancel culture, because I listen to those things. I don't agree with them, and I don't listen to all the points, but I know what I'm talking about because it is something that's happening right now with a certain artist that I think is really unfair to him. And he's not a favorite person of mine. I don't listen to his music, but I think he's a human being, and I think they're just on his case, whatever it is. And I know the reason why. So, Christine, go right ahead.
Well, you raised some points that I had also identified because, folks, what you need to know is Cheryl and I prepare to deliver information of value to you every single week. So while, yes, we do have lots of our own ideas, we do go online and we do look for information based on thought, coming from thought leaders and others, so that when you look at this conversation, you'll be able to draw some points from it as you now assess yourself and see, where might I improve? Where might I shine a little bit brighter? And a confident woman does not dumb down herself to make others feel comfortable. So that's one thing. She does not conform because she recognizes that life is not about perfection. It's not. It's not about pleasing people, pleasing other people, because we talk about people pleasers all the time. She lives authentically, knowing that she is who she is, and she speaks her truth, and she makes space for others to speak theirs respectfully. She doesn't take things personally, because someone can be talking about a situation and not you. It's not necessarily your fault. So she knows that sometimes when we are speaking about a situation, she cannot internalize that and think that she is falling short. Now, the funny thing is that in another article, the first one was Huffington Post. I love Huffington Post, Ariana Huffington. But the second article I was reading from Cheryl was another Forbes.com article. And interestingly enough, that their research, which drew from Cornell University, they said women and men demonstrate confidence differently. Men overestimate their confidence. Women underestimate their confidence. The good news for women is that over time, they learn and they become even more confident. Sadly, though, so many years have gone between when we were in our late 20s, 30s, and today where we go, hang on, I am good. I am just good, right? Men, on the other hand, do things differently. But a couple of other things that are traits of a confident woman, they prioritize self care. And that's something that you speak about all the time, taking care of oneself. How do we show up? How do we present ourselves? Square shoulders, squared off shoulders, head up, stepping confidently, as if I remember this from many years ago, as if we own the space. And they own their choices and release guilt. If we make mistakes, guess what? I made a mistake. We move on. If we have to say sorry, if we have to apologize, we apologize. And we learn from those mistakes and not hold on to it and use it to define oneself as a failure. Confident women don't do that. And they don't need praise from anyone because they continue to know, as you and I talk about lots of times, who you are, and whose you are. And you were made in his image and likeness. So if you have that as your foundation, that is powerful, and you can step out on that faith. And they also see failure as an opportunity, not as the end of everything. Oh my God, I failed. I feel horrible. I'm a loser. No, I am not. It was just one more opportunity to elevate oneself, learn from it, and move forward. And there's so much more. But yeah, Cheryl, let's talk a little bit about some of these pointers, because they're just so many. And we want to celebrate women and let them know that wherever you are on the spectrum right now, you are well on your way. If you don't subscribe to what a lot of people say, think and say, which is, if you don't do well, you're absolutely horrible. That's not true. Speak up, learn.
But what is not doing what is not doing well is relative to the person, right?
Exactly.
Right? It
Exactly.
is relative to the person. Yeah, that's what not doing well. I mean, who says I'm not doing well? I mean, what are you comparing that to? What are you talking about? You know what I mean?
Comparison
Right,
is the
right,
thief of joy.
right, right. And the thing about it, we have you see the whole thing is, you see how I could talk about the cancer culture,
Yes.
but all these things are out there. And a lot of women of all ages, people like to knock young people, but let me tell you something. I deal with more mature women, and it's the same thing. They take the advice from the wrong space. I would love. My mother should have been alive for me to ask her these questions. When they were young girls, who did they look up to? Because they didn't have all these internet, all these things, right? I mean, they had their fashion books and different things, right?
Yes, of
But I
course.
mean, they look at all the wrong people. When you look at the fashion and the women who are making a mark in the world, there's something very wrong with that. There's something very wrong. That's who they take their pointers from. And there's some of them who are so famous and popular that the world will get on your back if you say one thing about that. You say, I don't think she nice. I remember once that famous person, KK, whatever her thing, right? What is dressed to something. Now, we have to be honest about that. Every single one of her dresses is the same thing. It might be a different color, it might have sleeves, it might not have sleeves, but all fit like a glove. I have not seen her in a lovely gown or flowing skirts or even with a slit. All her clothes, go look at Google and go look at all her fashion, and all fit like as though she stepped into a sleeve. Why? Because she paid money for that body. That chiseled, exact arch that she has, that exact thing that she has there, that perfect, exact thing she has, like a drawing that was done to her body and her sister's body. They paid for that, so they have to show it. So where right now, I am slim, people like to tell me, oh, you like full dresses? Yeah, why you're so slim, it can wear nice. I know I can wear slim dresses. But I love. I think it's very feminine to wear a lovely flowing gown. But they would never wear something like that. You take a look at the pictures, and I all said they were talking about, oh, you dress so nice. And all I said was, really? That's not the same dress she was wearing last week, a different color. And let me tell you something, and it's on purpose. I got hate people from all over the world who don't even know me. I got it was hate. I got hate. I sat down and had a good laugh at that. That was so funny for me. That they took me on to defend her who don't care about them. She don't care who about them. Right? You know you have to leave a door ajar for the traffic. Leave it. Right. Nobody not bothered by that, right? Yeah. You know, I mean she don't care too much about them. She don't care about them, right? But they have come on social media, they're defending her. And the truth is, if you look at the dress, or look at the rompers or whatever she wears, every single one looks exactly like the same fashion. Different fabric, different color, and another different designer name on it. Designers that they have no imagination either, right? And it's the same exact thing over and over and over and over again. But this is who they look up to, right? Right? Christina disappeared. I hope she's hearing me. The other thing is that another one of them who is obese and not very healthy, she has found herself many times on Instagram and stuff naked as a jailbird. And they said that she's body positive, so she doesn't mind showing her body because she's overweight. Instead of encouraging the lady to look after herself and get healthy, right? Get healthy, and whether she's this big or that big, she shouldn't be naked anywhere in the public domain, you know, and they're defending her. They consider that to be positive, that she's positive about herself, that's why she's naked on thing. And I'm saying to myself, really? Really? How come? You know, why? Why? Like Bishop R.C. Blake, I listen to him sometimes. Sometimes message me a little too long, but I like to listen to him sometimes. He said he said before I became a pastor, I was a womanizer. I love pretty women. So look at my wife, she's a beautiful woman. He said, let me tell you something. Women have beautiful faces, but they all are now taking pictures of their rear end. So since when their face has turned to your rear, you know, they all take pictures turning this way. He said, why are they blocking it and showing their rear end all the time? I said, simply because they're paying for it. It's like a lady in a sleeve dress, whose name I refuse to call, right? You dress like a sleeve, or you dress like a sleeve. They have paid money for that. So they have to show it. It's now become like, you know, like better than the face. So instead of smiling at the camera and taking a picture, showing your nice teeth and showing your nice face, I will turn around and show my derriere. Right? So, and this is where a lot of people get the examples from. And they look to these people, because they're there every single time. They're there all the time. And they think that's confidence. So they build, and the other thing is arrogance. Being rude to people.
Yeah.
You know, saying what you feel like saying. But that's who I am, you know. I'm confident. That's not confidence. That's being rude. You have to know how to speak to people. You have to know how to speak to people. Right? I grew up in a home and manners make it man. You know? We have to have manners. No longer teaching girls how to walk with confidence. Do they still have those boarding schools where girls went to learn how to walk and speak and everything? Do they still have those things?
Only maybe in the UK.
Only in the UK.
Yes.
Because those things have been thrown out, because we have a famous quote-unquote princess who, I don't know what her deal was when she got married to the prince. But she is something else all by herself. She looked at a 1,000-year tradition and she felt she was struggling to wreck it. And she wasn't even a famous actress. She was in one show I knew of. I looked at the series, and she wasn't the star of that show. She wasn't the top woman in that show. But all of a sudden, she got involved with the man, married the man, and the people 1,000-year tradition, and there are people who are, agreeing with her, or why should she follow? But you can't do that. You can't do that. You have your way you raise your children. Imagine somebody marrying your son. I'm trying to tell your son, trying to bring him away from how he, I mean, he's a man, so he have his own thing. But what I'm trying to say, traditions he will always keep. Trying to move him away from something that you're accustomed doing in your home. I'm thinking that what you have to go wrong. How could you? I mean, this is that 1,000-year-old tradition. These things go way back when. Before foreparents were born. How you can come and change and you feel that you're right? And she was caught in so many lies. All the things that she said to Oprah, all of them were proven to be lies. I don't know if you saw that thing. Every single one, Megyn Kelly called her out and brought the receipts to prove that the thing that she was saying about not making her son a prince, all those things were not true because he wasn't entitled to be that. It's only his first, I can't remember, but his first child, his children and his grandchildren, something like that. The one who was the heir. The others will get a title, but they will not be princes and princesses. It's a whole thing, and that was incorporated more than 100 and something years ago. Like some other King Henry, somebody. So all the things she said, and she knew that when she got married into that family. So I wouldn't call her name because people could guess what I'm talking about. But see, that's who people look to. And they say she's confident. She's not confident. She's bold-faced. Right? And she feels that she tear down that whole tradition that would make her famous. And would make her famous with some. But there's some people who are so very black conscious that because she's black, and she's not really even black, her mother's biracial, her father's white. So she's not black. Wasn't Trinidad. Biracial mother and white father ain't black to me, right? She's biracial, but they want to call her black, so they want to own a black woman. So she's the first black princess, the first colored person to get there. All this control. Let me tell you, they're getting their information from the wrong people and they're following the wrong things. I know I'm being controversial right now, but that's not confidence. That's not confidence. Confidence is knowing who you are and knowing that you have nothing to prove. Right? I could have married the prince, and I'll go right there and very close the prince to live because I know when I get in, that's what I have to do. I have to drink tea, with my pink here. I will do it because that's what I got into. You don't marry into something like that and try to change the whole thing and try to make it your own. You don't. Anyway, I've been going off the rails. Go right ahead.
Well, I think really the jumping off point for me is, yes, we're talking to women our age and maybe a little younger and even maybe a little older. And you're right. Who do we look up to? My mom is still here, but I can't recall us having that discussion. Maybe one day when she comes back in a few weeks, I can remember to ask her. But when we were young and growing up, yes, we had the magazines. We talked about people like Chanel. We talked about world leaders like Margaret Thatcher. We talked about women who were so confident. We talked about Grace Kelly. I know I'm dating myself here, but I just recently saw...
No, that's not dating, that's history. The young ones need to know these things.
And I looked at a documentary recently.
Before our time, before our time, but we know about her because our parents made sure we read and we know history.
Looked at the biography, and actually I was looking at a documentary recently about his son, the Prince of Monaco, and taking a look at what's happened since she's passed on. And these are the women, just one or two, that we looked at from afar. I remember when Hillary Clinton was, Bill Clinton's wife, going through the very challenging time of the alleged infidelity. And I looked at how she carried herself, because really what we see in front of the camera is staged.
Yes, of
okay
course.
It's staged because it's marketing and it's PR, and you're not allowed to fall apart in front of the camera, especially in that particular echelon. But I remember saying to myself, when that particular situation was happening, that she carried herself, and I'm not saying she's a perfect woman because I don't know her, but she carried herself with an air of grace and calm.
Yeah.
Grace Kelly was before my time, and I looked at her and I thought the same. She carried herself with such grace and charm. She was not neither woman, certainly not Margaret Thatcher, they weren't exposing themselves all over the place. They
No,
were women of influence, women that we identified with from a particular level of character. And I think it's because we had those kinds of women that we looked up to. And the other thing, in our time, there was no internet. So we looked at television and we saw the documentaries and we saw the newsreels and we made some assumptions. And for some reason, we may have patterned ourselves to a certain extent. I won't say all.
dogs having a dog party in the neighborhood, and I'm hearing them.
A girl, I know it. It's our neighbors.
Yes, go ahead. Yes, go ahead.
And
Yes.
we patterned our lives in a certain way. We did not have the internet. We did not have TikTok. We did not have Instagram. So our exposure to the wider world was not what it is today. And I think we lived in a charmed time because we were able to grow up, Cheryl, you and I, as we constantly say, in a particular neighborhood where our parents raised us a particular way. Our parents were hardworking people. We saw the value of the dollar. And our parents would instill in us these lessons about being confident and carrying yourself in a particular way because of your family name, because of what your family aspired to.
Yes.
And while we all grew in our own way, because each of us, we have our own purpose. We're brought here, we came to this earth with our own particular purpose. And we all have failed in various aspects of our lives. We've learned from those challenges. We've grown from those challenges. And I think we've done fairly well. My challenge with this period in time, and Bishop T.D. Jakes says this all the time, he says because of our children's and grandchildren's and even our exposure to social media, which is a double-edged sword, we continue to say this, no man was meant to hear these voices 24/7. It is challenging our ability to create and sustain who we really are and who we want to be. Who are we really listening to? And are these people really making the best impact on our lives? And you alluded to that just now. Someone goes on to social media and says that they're an icon and they speak a particular way and they behave a particular way. Do we accept that? No. And we can, because I think of our level of maturity, decide who am I going to listen to? And we filter appropriately. That's the main message. But my concern is that for our younger people and for their own mental wellness, have they yet learned how to filter out appropriately as their minds are still growing and developing? How can we help them literally learn how to filter better? Because, listen, all of those wonderful folks, because they're all God's children too, all those wonderful folks are doing their thing, making millions on somebody else's addiction to their folly and other things. So that's just my thought for the moment.
Yeah, yep. I mean, you keep saying older women and more mature women, more mature. I telling you, I have worked with some very mature women, and they're thinking. If I didn't know their age group, you would think they were like 16 years old. Their thinking is so strange.
Yeah.
They think, I mean, and they will spend hours looking. They may not look at the KK, but look at the real housewives, who are another set of bad influence on women anywhere in the world. But they look at those. And there are people who told me, I have a friend who told me, she's older than me actually, and she told me she enjoys that. She enjoys that. And I said, I could not sit and look at those women. I said, because I empower women. And I don't see any empowerment there. See, you all look at the wrong things. You look at the mansions and the cars. But you all looked at what they're doing to get those things and how many times they lose those things and how many different husbands they have in between those things? Think about their moral standing. I'm not judging anybody. Think about all of that. Is that how you want to live to get that mansion? No thanks. I'll stay in my apartment. Okay? I'll stay in my house. I'll stay in my townhouse. I'll stay in my condominium. I really don't, at this stage of my life, I don't need a mansion. As it is right now, I have too many rooms to clean in this house. I can have a cozy little apartment for, because, pretty soon it'll be me, I alone, and then I don't want to be cleaning cupboards every day and cleaning the house every day, spend hours cleaning the house. No. So when you have your alone space, you really don't need all those rooms. You don't. I require a beautiful master bedroom by ensuite and a lovely walk-in closet. Nice living room and a kitchen. That's what I require. That's all I need. Everything else could just go. Okay? But see, they look at those things, and for them, that is accomplishment. But they don't read between the lines. There's a lot happening in between the lines. A lot happening under the surface of all of these things that happen to these women. A lot of it. And when you see it, when I experience those things, how people are so broken by all this nonsense they're looking at on television and social media, it is some of them that are exposed to these things. When I attend conferences or when I speak at conferences, and you look at grown women sitting in the audience who just break down and begin to cry and weep when you deliver a message to them, or they come to you and they gather and they talk. One person doesn't want to spend an hour with you to talk because then everybody wants to get your attention. You realize the state of mind that they're in.
Yes.
So they're sitting at home and that's what they're listening to. And people say, oh, young people think, no. You'll be surprised how many of them. That's why there's so much bullying in schools. A girl will laugh at another girl because she's not as passionate as the other one. Or their parents putting themselves out of pocket to buy clothes. Well, here in Trinidad, we wear uniforms. But abroad, they don't wear uniforms. And most of the schools in the city don't wear uniforms.
Yes.
And a parent will put themselves out of pocket just to get these designer things for their child because they don't want when the child go to school, the child gets bullied for not wearing anything. I don't blame the parent. One might try to be bullied either. But look at where we've reached. I remember when my eldest son, he went to Holy Rosary Prep. There's a private school. He went to private school, right? And I remember the principal of that school. She said, a school in St. James. Her policy was, I want no designer sneakers inside of here. Not one single pair. Plain black sneakers. She had a many pairs. She said, I don't care how many aunties send from wherever country. They're wearing it on a weekend. They're not to wear it because what will happen in here is that one child will have it and then others will have problems. Everybody, so our uniform is a basic black pair of sneakers. No designer label on it. Your parents wasn't happy about it, but they had to do it. If you want the child to be in that school, to get that Mrs. Marquez is her name. Trying to remember her name. If you want the child to get that kind of education in that kind of school, she said, part of my requirement is that's my school uniform. I don't want that in my school. I don't want to check. I want nobody name. I want to label. Plain black sneakers.
When my kids went to school as well, Cheryl, that was the rule as well. Yes.
They conformed. When Johan, who's 14 years younger than his brother, went to school now, he also went to private school. There are a lot of problems in that school. He went to, and he actually went to the university school, right? He went to UWI Prep. So, mostly parents, they were professors and whatever it is.
Correct.
So they were doing all kinds of stuff. There was a lot of problems in the school. They tried to bring it down into basic, but some of the parents were not listening. I mean, they were paying top dollar for the children to go to school there. I was paying top dollar for my son to go to school there as well. So I had to eventually conform to him. So he wore the Jordans to school because, well, as a parent, you don't want him to go and not. And he didn't say anything, but I mean, you know, we don't know our child to be bullied, and he's not the type of child that would take bullying. I probably have to go to school some point in time and carry somebody to a doctor. So I didn't want that to happen because he's not going to take that. He was always a very stand for himself kind of person, unlike his bigger brother. So sometimes parents put themselves out of the way to get these things just for the children to conform. And why? Is that comparison, that competition? I know somebody. I mean, maybe I should, yeah, I will say, a cupboard full of designer shoes. When I say cupboard full, I don't mean 10 pairs. I don't mean 20 pairs. I don't mean 30 pairs. I don't mean 40 pairs. So you can call a number above that. Designer shoes. She doesn't go out. She doesn't go anywhere. The whole thing is, they buy them when they have sales. So just to say, have an old, wearing them, some of them in boxes, some of them in plastic. Once she opened that cupboard, my heart stopped. I felt hurt for her. So I was like, what? What is that? What is that? What is that? You know what I mean? That says something to me. Right? Because I don't know how many pairs of shoes I could wear at the same time. Right? I don't know how many pairs. And when I teach women to dress, I tell you to get the basic colors first. Then you can buy some color ones in between. If you like shoes, no problem. You can have 10 or 20 pairs if you can afford it and you go out and socialize a lot, no problem. But you have to have the basic ones because sometimes you're called to do something and you can't wear a red shoe or pink shoe to go to an interview or a yellow pair of shoes. Has to be black pumps or this brown, right? So somehow, I don't know, the whole idea that it's just young people who are being influenced by all this nonsense is not true. Because I have been and I've seen the young ones might express it more. So they'll weep longer and louder, I guess, because they're young. But a lot of the mature women I have come across it many times, and then they come and ask, so how do I get help? They want to be helped, but they're caught up in the whole rat race and they don't know the stuff. And it is amazing.
Well, let's talk about how, therefore, this impacts women in the work environment, because that lack of confidence, some believe, I think, I'm hoping it's still not like this, but some believe that to demonstrate a level of arrogance and contempt for other women is a way of demonstrating their level of confidence. I've certainly seen it when last I worked in a corporate space. How would you say that confidence shows up in today's corporate space in a very positive way?
It should show up this way. Let me tell you how it should show up, which I told somebody who I worked with some time ago, the person.
Yes.
Who doesn't understand that, right? A good manager is always pleasant, but firm. Right? And you live by example. Anyway, you carry yourself, anyway you speak to others and everything else, you live by example. Shouting and talking down to somebody does not give you authority. It means there's something fractured in you. Because I could have an employee and I could be firm on what I want done. I need those chairs put across that corner there by 10 o'clock this morning because so-and-so's coming from an office meeting, blah, excuse me, thank you, that's what I want done. Very nice with a smile. Right? Because I'm firm. So they know that I'm firm and that's what they have to do. I don't have to come in the morning and shout and carry on or look down on people or try to tell them in front of others to embarrass them. Right? But that's a woman thing. I'm not a man, so I can't talk for men. Because some of the women I've worked with have had ego trips. There was somebody who told me once, you can't come in here looking better than me, you know.
Wow.
But you know what my answer was to that? You know Cheryl, you know me, you know me, Christine, you know Cheryl, you know Cheryl there? I said, honey, that cannot be avoided. Have you looked at me? And she was like, oh my God, how much so hard? I said, my mother said, I'm a grown woman. And I came to work dressed appropriate, very appropriate. And you will look at me and tell me I can't come here looking better than you. That can't be helped. It's because of who I am, I will also look better than you. And she was stunned for the rest of the day. She kept looking at me. She couldn't believe the answer she got. I mean, from the other people, she would get like, whatever. I'm not covering for anybody because I know who I am. I know who I am. Right? And I tell people I was an image consultant before I studied image consultants. Because I grew up with a father who knew fashion. Let me tell you something. I think I gave you a joke with my mother. She used to love to sew for us. No, not too much. Always making something for us. School having the school bazaar. Lady when she buy her fabric and she just sewing tops for us to go to her pants. And now she buy the pants, right? She probably buy the jeans or whatever, right? But she just sewing the blouse and she's sewing. Oh my, she's sewing, putting on buttons and stuff for us. We go to daddy and say, Daddy, today's the bazaar. We don't want that here now. Okay, I'll organize you all. He's going to for the stay. And he organize whatever, he'll buy whatever. He coming back with it, a taxi will stop around midday. This is what Mr. Mendy sent his daughters. And my mother will get so mad every single time. And the thing is, she will still sew the next time, eh? Only she know we'll do that. I will put on our whatever fancy. I also remember there's a green one. It's what they call Kelly green now, that bright green. Was a long sleeve blouse with 2 pieces of frills at the bottom. Midriff, tied here with a frill coming around the collar. That's my nice, what they call low-rise pants now. We call it hipster back in the day. Bell-bottom pants. To go to Diggle Sec Bazaar. And people follow me. What are you doing? And everybody was fascinated by my mother because my father he knew about fashion. He knew what was in style, so he will organize us. Now, mommy made a nice blouse. We wore the blouses after, but we just didn't want to wear it to the school bazaar. But she didn't want to hear that. She wanted to make sure she sold her first to go to the school bazaar, right? So I tell people I knew about fashion and style, and I knew to put myself together long before I went into image consultancy. I knew about this a long time. When my father's niece got married in 1970, you know about we are? He was her father giver, right? He gave her away. And they still up to the talk about that. How he almost stole the thunder from the bride with his outfit. The coordination of his tie and his shirt and his socks and everything, his shoes, his blood color shoes and everything else. He was so coordinated that he almost stole the thunder from the bride. It's still up to it. When my auntie talk about it, with your father, I also remember Pamela Welly, he always, you ever see how and everybody, because that's how he was. Right? He had over, when he passed away, they didn't have to ask what we're gonna bury daddy in. Excuse me, just go in and closet for me, please. Man, I have about 20 suits hanging up in there. All London and under plastic. Right? He was like that. And he encouraged my mother to always dress. The first time we saw rollers, the pink ones with the cap.
Yes.
It was daddy who brought it home and put us along between his legs and set her hair for her. And show her how to use the curlers. He went somewhere and saw ladies doing it. So instead of going to hair, so every time you can do your hair face up and put your rollers in your hair face up. Because she used to have long hair back in the day, right? So my father set the trend first.
Right.
And then growing up in Diamond Vale, on our side of the Vale, because you were on the other side of the Vale, Sunday afternoon was our like fashion fest. We used to get dressed for no reason. Let's go for a walk around the park. Right where you live there now, right around that park up there. Just
yes.
Pull up the park and show them back down the road. We going anywhere now. But they have on a nice outfit, a nice shoes and a thing. The hair blowing in the wind. It wasn't a natural thing for us. So I was into fashion and style and making myself look presentable even before. And then out of secondary school, I did some training with Eve Anderson. You know, they used to do training for interview training back in the day.
Yes.
Right. And let me tell you, we were told we cannot wear blouse and our pants. we're going to wear any trousers and a blouse, has to have a matching jacket.
Yes.
But preferably you wear a skirt and a blouse with the jacket. If you're wearing a dress, the dress must have sleeves. Let me tell you something, there were so many rules that just went out the door with back then. But that's the training you got, the guidance you got for your world of work.
Yes.
So
Of course.
I knew about putting myself together in that way long before. And when of course everything was just confirmed when I did the formal training and I understood about figure types and I understood about the colors and I understand how to dress for certain occasions. So now I know if you're going to a black tie affair, what you need to wear is not just a black dress. You go to a cocktail evening. Some of the colors have changed up a little bit. So you can wear another color besides black to cocktail evening, or you could wear something else. But there's
Yes.
certain style as cocktail style. There's certain style as cocktail style. So don't just wear anything at a cocktail party. So I could now tell women about that because I'm trained in that. But I learned those things from home, I'm telling you. My sisters are trying to get me to go to the Garden Archives to find a newspaper where the last time the Queen came to Trinidad, it was the last time she came here, was a picture of mommy and daddy on the papers. And he was in his full uniform with his red sash and all his pins and stuff on him in the army thing. And she was in a powder blue skirt suit, like a skirt, pencil skirt, and a jacket with a kind of big round color, short sleeve,
Yes.
with her fingertip gloves and her little hat and her little handbag, like the Queen. And we couldn't find, we don't know what that picture is, but it was in the newspaper. So they asked me if I could go and ask them to go to the archives and we could
Yes.
find a print because they want to get it. And maybe one day I'm in the mood. I have not found the mood to go and look for it. I don't know why they want that. But they want to get that. They want
Yeah.
to put it somewhere for the grandchildren to see it. Right?
Of
But they want the
course.
paper standing next to each other. And she had a nice little powder with her white hat and her white gloves and her white shoes and her white handbag. Okay? So I grew up knowing about that. So it's not a big deal for me now. You know? I tell people I don't wear sweats. Sweats have a place for it. There's a place for sweats. And now they have really nice designer sweats. You can wear sweats and look good now, eh?
Yes.
Make sure it fits you well with the right shoes and a nice pair of boots and some sweats to go to the supermarket. Hot like a thing. You don't wear with slippers, not with flip flops. So there's a
No.
way to make things like we live in a different time. So we don't have to be that strict with certain things, but we can certainly change things up a little bit. But still, always be appropriate. Whenever I see women bend over in the supermarket and I can see their thumbs, I'm like, really? Do they have mirrors in their homes? Do they live with anybody else in the house? Does anybody see them? Or that kind of spandex material, that stretchy, cheap material, I call it cheap, that hugs everybody. So even if it's slim like me, every million and one waistline you have, you can see it when it sits or it's stand good. It shows every fold in your body. Why are you wearing that? That's for home inside of your house. You know what I mean? But listen, to each his own. All I can say is in this dialogue we have in here, that the influencers are not right, and there are too many of them outside there, and the word confidence is very misused. This is the word diva is being misused. A diva is somebody who accomplished something, an accomplished singer, that's a diva. All of a sudden, from the time you can misbehave and behave bad outside, you're a diva. So they've taken the word and carried it somewhere else. And so bad, Christine Gilliam, bad girl. That's not because you're bad, that's because you're really good. So they have taken all of these things and they have mixed it up and mixed and mush. And well, I can move with the times. So I could use the term bad too. I could use it, but sometimes they take things too far out of context. And the word confidence, I don't understand. If you curse me out, oh gosh, Christine don't want another. She confident. It's how she cuss up Christine, right? That's not confidence. That's being rude and disrespectful. I disrespected myself as well as disrespecting the other person who I'm cursing out.
Well, folks, I'll tell you, what all we can encourage women to do is to become more self-aware. Look at your strengths, because you've got many. And if you look at your strengths, make a list. List all of your strengths, all the things and instances where you've done well, and feel confident in those. Yes, we all have areas of our lives that we want to improve, and that's where personal development and growth, that's where that's the category that falls in. And we can either do lots of free courses, as you know, and if we want certification, there are lots of others that we can pay for as we continue to grow ourselves. Understand that each of us, we bring to our spaces and to the world something very, very special, because like a fingerprint, none of us, not one of us is identical. Even identical twins have different thumbprints. And
Yes.
so, folks, we want you to take some time out. I think oftentimes we are not willing to slow down to become aware so that we can speed up more confidently. If we recognize that, listen, I don't feel confident in certain circumstances, then it's one of the reasons why when I didn't feel confident in a sales environment because I hated hearing no, I went and I got a job where I knew I would have to hear no every single day. And what did that do? It built up my resilience, but also it allowed me to listen more intently to people to see what were their struggles, what were they going through that maybe I couldn't help them with. And therefore, their no had nothing to do with me and everything to do with their circumstance. But
Yeah.
that willingness to listen and empathize and maybe give some advice where they could find some help, that was appreciated. That's where I learned. In hearing no, I learned even greater confidence because I knew I was building a muscle. So, folks, that's it. And feel good about all the things that you've accomplished before. Write them down, celebrate them, and always know it's the way that you get up in the morning and look in that mirror and say, I love you. I love you. That person in the mirror. Make it a habit. I told a young man this on Saturday when he was dropping me to a book launch. And I said, who's the person you listen to? Anybody, any of us listens to most of the time. It's ourselves. We have that inner conversation 24/7 going on. We need to manage that conversation.
Yes.
So if you get up in the morning and you go to brush your teeth, you say, I love you. There's nobody else like you. And if you don't love you, who else will love you? Love you first. Celebrate yourself. Put your most amazing accessory is your smile. A smile denotes confidence. And if you don't feel confident as yet, that's why basketball players get on the court every single day. To do what? Practice. Practice, practice, practice.
Makes you get
Event
better. Yes.
you get better. And the other thing is, if you don't have people in your circle that support you, that celebrate you, that encourage you, it's time to find a new circle. You are the
Yes,
sum
again, girl.
total
Repeat that,
of
repeat that, repeat that. Yes, yes. Sometimes
if
need to change the
you
circle. Mhm.
if you are not being honored and celebrated and encouraged by your current circle, it's time to find a new circle. I'm not saying cancel out the old, okay, folks? I'm just
Okay.
saying it's time to spend, or shall I say, invest more time in people who will encourage you, celebrate you, teach you a couple of new things that will benefit your onward as you propel yourself upward. Never forget the people who support you and you be a support to others. And I told them, I said, look for people who you would say to yourself, wow, I wish I could speak like that. I wish I could have that kind of knowledge. Put yourself in the uncomfortable spaces where you're going to learn more.
Yeah.
Listen to podcasts like this one. Learn something new. See these devices? Double-edged sword again. On your off time, cleaning the house, getting ready for this session with Cheryl, put on a TED talk. Listen to something that will help you to learn something new. Help you to be more confident in a particular area that you might want to grow in. Folks, there are good voices out there and those that are not going to take you where you want to go. You get to choose. You have the power. That's my message to you today. Because when you do those things, you are going to start smiling at yourself first, and that love and that smile will radiate from within, and people will be attracted to you by your smile and your energy. And the very things that you want to happen in your life, you will start to see them coming one by one, sometimes more. But you will find that life is an adventure, but you've just got to become more self-aware and make a decision. Who am I going to be today? What is the best version I can be of myself? Not in 10 years, not in 5 years, today. Because every today adds up. Back to you, Cheryl.
But I will just wind up by saying that failure is not a bad thing. Failure is a learning process, right? If you never fail, you will never be able to grow and learn, right? So failure is not a bad thing. So don't be afraid to fail, okay? No is a full sentence. No is also not a bad word. Somebody tells you no, try not to take everything personal.
That's right.
It's not a personal thing. So remember saying it to you, and you might look back. Many times I've looked back in my life and thought to myself, oh my gosh, I'm thanking God that was a no. I like to give a joke about Leroy. There's not a real person that I know. I was telling a group of ladies once, I said, imagine when you were like a teenager, you fell in love with this boy called Leroy, right? And your mother told her she didn't like him at all. She didn't approve of Leroy. And he was so hurt because Leroy was the best second thing to you since whatever, since Christ came or since White Sox, right? And then he went back to school reunion a couple of years later. And there's Leroy's tooth missing and his belly hanging over his fat thing. And you're so glad that your mother told you that no. I said, everybody was asking like, what was Leroy? I said, nobody I know of. But I'm telling you, it's just happening. You go back to school and is that who, oh my God, that so oh my goodness. And you're glad that no came to that. Be confident in who you are. Learn to love, begin to accept yourself. This morning, my little note on LinkedIn, I didn't write a long thing, that a small positive thought in the morning can change your whole day.
So
your
true.
Entire day. So, ladies, thank you all for being here. Check Christine's Linktree, Christine Francois. Linktree / is just Christine Francois, right?
Yes.
Right. So it's Linktree / Christine Francois. And you can check mine out. It's on the website. It's on the other thing here. It's Linktree / Cheryl Deanne Speaks. Check us out and see what we have to offer. We have lots of good things to offer you all. If you all need to talk, need advice, need help with whatever, we are here to help you all. Thank you all for listening. Thanks to those who will come to the replay. And thanks to those who will subscribe at some point in time. We are looking forward to having you to be a part of this family. Take care.